Now in its 10th year, this is GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, we're live from Harlem in New York City, and we are the Ramble, and I'm Alex Bennett. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him, you love him, you've seen him on TV once every 20 years. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Larry Bowles Brown. Hi, Larry.
Hey, roll in the new year. Everything's great.
Do you have any resolutions for the new year?
Yeah, try not to die.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's the big one.
Yeah.
I found out that, you know what, New Year's, until 1752, you know when New Year's was celebrated?
Until when? What year?
1752.
Boy, you're going back a long way. I don't know, was it celebrated in March?
Very good. Yeah, March 25th.
You know why I figured that one out? Because that's when Christ was supposedly really born.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was going to say because of that's when spring starts, which makes more sense to start a new year in spring, I would think, than winter.
That's kind of, you got a great idea there. I mean, why don't we do it when it's not cold and bitter and so on, and you can go outside and yell Happy New Year, and you don't,
And they used to, until FDR, they used to inaugurate the president in March, not January.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Franklin Roosevelt was the first to be done in January?
Yeah, I think they changed it in his second term, 36. Yeah,
I think part of the reason might have been the reason why it was so late, was because of traveling to the inauguration. And that if you did it later on, it's easier to travel or something like that,
Yeah, that could be.
Well, I mean, yeah. So, anyway, that's all screwed anyway. Who cares? As we're sitting here recording this thing, the Congress is getting together to, solidify the election by counting the ballots or whatever they do. And what they've done is they've fenced off the entire Capitol because they don't want another riot. Well, to begin with, the Republicans are in this time, and Democrats don't riot, okay? Why? We're pussies. I mean, we should be down there rioting. What the hell? Why not? If the Republicans can do it, if those right-wingers can do it, so can we, man. We're tough as shit.
And they got to, it's odd that, who certifies after they count who certifies the whole event is the vice president, the one who lost the election.
Yeah, Kamala Harris has to say, hey, you're the new president. Congratulations.
It's not the first time that's happened. Gore had to do it for a W.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
it's maybe
Nixon had to do it for Kennedy.
I imagine it's happened several times because usually, a lot of times, the person who's the vice president gets to run for president. And then if they lose, well, they're there to,
like Nixon.
No, one time he didn't mention was Trump and what's his name, who was vice president, who was there.
Pence, yeah.
Pence, yeah, because he didn't do Trump's bidding. He was terrible. He was a horrible person. Well, he wasn't a horrible person when you chose him, was he? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't get it. I don't want to have anything to get here. I just want to be left alone. Okay?
That's all I want to. I want to be left alone.
Yeah. So anyway, and here in New York, because we're doing this on a Monday, and this will be played on Friday, they started congestion pricing here. You know what that?
I heard about that. I heard that's not very popular.
No, because they're charging a fortune for you to come into New York if you live in New Jersey. And the thing is, here's the unusual thing. In order to avoid the congestion pricing, you have to come over the George Washington Bridge. Okay? And then you can't go beneath, I think, 59th Street, 69th Street, something like that. So all the congestion is going to move from the center of town up to guess where? Harlem, where I live. It's going to be
screwed.
We're screwed. We're screwed, and they don't care about us. Oh, we want to take care of congestion pricing because we don't want it to be congested in Midtown. Well, screw you, you know. So we got that one.
Well, I read are the bridge tolls there? Like, I thought I read $20.
No. I think 15. $15. Yeah. I mean, let's face it. If you commute into Manhattan every day and you cross any one of the bridge, the George Washington Bridge, it's $15. So you're spending what,
Jesus.
5 days a week? So a lot of people take
$5.
A lot of people take
That's $300 a month.
Yeah, a lot of people take mass transit to get here. Anyway, so. You know, but it's very expensive. I mean, if you want to drive in every day, that's going to wind up costing you $75 a week.
$300 a month, $3,600 a year.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. So anyway, you know, but everything goes up. I'll tell you what happened. Every Monday, Marjorie, when she's capable of walking, goes up to this bakery we've got up the street and buys us raisin danishes. Okay? And fine, right? So we've been getting these, God, for years now. And all of a sudden Marjorie noticed they're smaller.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're circular, but they're smaller. And so she asked the guy, hey, they're smaller now. He says, yeah, but the guy who owns the place wanted us to make them smaller. So we've finally been hit by shrinkflation.
Yeah, that's happening in a lot of things, yeah.
Yeah. If you go down and you want to buy a box of, cereal. Yeah, it's the same size box. It's the same price, but look at the weight on it as opposed to what it was a year ago. Yeah.
Cereal's gotten very expensive.
Well, I never bought cereal. Are you a cereal eater?
Occasionally, yeah.
Yeah, I never liked cereal. When I was a kid, I loved it because it had little funny cartoon characters on the front and stuff, you know. But outside of that, I never. And Mom would make me cereal, and I go, okay, crunch, crunch, crunch. Good, thank you. I had a wholesome meal. You know, you could make me some eggs and bacon and send me out with a nice hot breakfast, but no, you're giving me this cold cereal. It's in, Kellogg invented the cornflake, you know. So. Anyway.
Yeah, he was big on fiber.
Yes, he was very big on fiber. Was he a doctor, or maybe he thought he was a doctor?
Well, I don't know if he was a doctor, but he was really big in this health thing. And actually, Dana Carvey did a movie that was about him called Road to Wellville.
Yes.
It was all about. I think it was about fiber and making sure you eliminate it every day. And he thought that was what would keep people healthy.
Well, he had this hospital, didn't he? He had this sanitarium or something like that.
Yeah. Sound like a really weird savant.
I think he also gave lots of enemas too.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, that was. Had to keep the system clean. That was his obsession.
Get your fiber in there, and then we'll flush it out while you're here.
Flush it out.
Yeah. When's the last time I ever had an enema? I haven't had an enema since I was a kid, I think.
I don't think I ever had one. Ugh.
Yeah. I never saw it as any benefit, except that it just cleaned you out.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you were blocked up, it might unblock you. But, Anyway.
That's one reason that I never wanted to do the colonoscopy, because don't they do that? And then they...
Well, the colonoscopy, they don't, no. You take the stuff that makes you poop and clear out your system. So
apparently all night.
Well, no, it's not all night. What I did is there was this stuff, I can't remember what it's called, citrus something is what I took. And it's just a small bottle, and you drink one, and about 3 hours later, you poop your brains out. Okay? And maybe you go back to the toilet 2 or 3 times, and then you go to sleep, and you don't have any problem. You wake up, and when you wake up, you take another one of these bottles, and then about 2 hours later, you poop your brains out, and then you go to your doctor, and he sticks a nozzle up your butt and looks at you.
And you're asleep, right?
Yeah, you're asleep. Yeah. Which is the best part of it, The best part of it is you wake up, and you've got usually the doctor looking over you as you wake up. And
looking at you like Bill Cosby.
Yeah, looking at you like somebody you can send a bill to, And Bill Cosby. I just got that. Oh, God. Like Bill Cosby. Anyway.
Well, that was his M.O., wasn't it?
Well, he didn't do a colonoscopy on these women and then, put them out. You just put them out. Maybe, Anyway, so you wake up, and it's like somebody edited 25 minutes out of your life. It's like you go out, and the next thing you know, you're waking up. And you're not groggy or anything. And then you just get up and you leave and you go home, And in one case, I think it hurt a little bit afterwards, or I had some air bubbles in my colon that was giving me great pain. But that was to be expected, so... Anyway, but you've never had a colonoscopy?
No.
Oh, my God, go get one. They're so much fun.
Yeah.
No, it's not a problem. When they put you on that table, they give you the juice, you go to sleep, forget it. You don't know anything. You wake up, it's all over with, and it's come back in 3 or 5 years, right? And I don't have to go back at all because after I got to a certain age, they don't do it. Mainly because they figure if you get it, like if I were to get, last time I had it, God, I can't remember, it was maybe about 8 years ago, something like that. But they say it takes, even if you have one starting the day afterwards, okay, some kind of polyp or cancer or whatever, it won't be anything that they have to do anything about for 10 years. Then they figure if you're 80 years old, you're probably not going to live 10 more years. So that's why they don't do it anymore, right? So looks like I'm probably going to die of colon cancer because I'm getting up there in age, But he said he'd call me if he felt I needed to get another one, and he never called me. So I haven't gotten one. Here, you see what we're talking about, folks? Here we are. We're talking about what, colonoscopies, are we?
Yeah, always health issues.
Always health issues. How's your health, by the way?
I guess it's all right. I don't know.
Come on, let's do an organ recital here. Come on, how's your hernia?
The hernia is getting worse. I actually left them a voicemail that maybe we should schedule this.
Oh boy. Yeah. That's one that takes about 3 weeks, 4 weeks to get completely over.
Yeah, it's not easy from what I've heard.
Well, you just gotta take it easy for 3 weeks. So, no more comedy for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So New Year, did you have a gig?
I had a gig that got canceled, but I got paid. So.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Tell me about it. Why was it canceled?
It was a Throckmorton. She I think they had like 10 comics. They're all going to do short sets, and then she said, like 10 days before, that she hadn't promoted it. She was afraid nobody was going to show up, so she just was going to pay us all and not do a show.
Oh.
I said, I think it's New Year's. People will show up, but they didn't want to do it.
So this must be the first New Year you haven't worked.
In quite a while, yeah. Since used to do your shows.
At the Palace of Fine Arts.
Those are the best ones, yeah.
Yeah, well, we also paid a lot for them, too,
Yeah.
But it was, it was a good, I love doing shows there.
It was like 2 blocks from your place.
Well, that was the other good thing. I walked 2 blocks.
That was the greatest gig ever.
I worked 2 shows because we did 2 shows in an evening, We did the early show, and then we did the midnight show, which, or 11:30 show or something like that, which was the more expensive one for people to attend. And we do that. And then I'd do both those shows, and then I'd walk home about $20,000 richer. So it was,
good night.
It was an easy night, okay? A very easy night to do. But then
I've noticed now that they're not booking big shows like they used to, and someone told me people are not going out on New Year's. Like, remember everything you would sell out on New Year's.
Well, they started calling it amateur night.
Yeah.
Because people would go and they were just like stupid drunks,
Yeah, they weren't great crowds. It was a good money night, but there wasn't a fun performance night.
Yeah, now the only excitement that happens is you're walking down Bourbon Street and somebody plows through you.
It's over you, yeah.
Happy New Year! A lot of explosions. No, those are gunshots. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Is that the fireworks?
Let me ask you this. I asked this of Marjorie last night, and I think it was. She answered like I would answer. When you were a kid, did any of this kind of stuff happen?
No.
No. I don't remember any major problem like this. You hear about murders and things like that, But nobody took a car and plowed into a crowd of people. Nobody went into a school and started acting like it was the Wild West. Yeah, no mass shootings. None of that when we were growing up. That wasn't what I was afraid of when I went to school. What I was afraid of was the bully. And that was it. But, I mean...
Well, it'd be interesting to know what's causing all this. Is it social media or the internet or...
I think it's social media. And I think it's the news operations. Okay, and let me explain why. Because they really, after an incident like what happened on Bourbon Street, they gin it up. They have nothing else to talk about, so they gin this up. And all that does is it encourages copycat people to go and do another one. So, the problem is really these news operations that when this kind of thing happens, they don't just report it and then move on. They sit there and talk about it and talk about it and talk about it. And I think it's the news operations, if you want my opinion. I think they've done more to cause this problem.
Yeah, they haven't helped, and I think that's a quick way for someone to get famous.
Also, news didn't travel as fast as it does now. I mean, something happens, and automatically it's online. Everybody knows about it. All the news operations are reporting it. In the old days, we didn't have that. What we had for news? news on the hour.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You listen to a radio station, they say, "Nah, we're going to take 5 minutes out now for the news." And we'd stop playing music, and for 5 minutes, your news guy read the news. And then it was on to other stuff. And
I remember. Remember when they used to have little like newsreels at theaters?
Oh, the newsreels in theaters. There were whole theaters that ran newsreels. You could go to like these news theaters, and they would run all the news. But you got to remember, all those newsreels, whatever happened in those newsreels, was maybe a week old.
Week old, yeah.
You know, and the newsreel only changed once a week, right?
Yeah.
If you were lucky enough to go to a theater that played a newsreel, usually they did in those days. What you had was you had a newsreel, you had a short subject, okay. Then you had a cartoon. Don't forget the cartoon. Then you had your first part of the double feature, which was usually what they called a companion feature, which usually was somewhere around 55 minutes to an hour. And then they ran the main feature. You know, they ran some trailers, and then they ran the main feature, which probably was 90 minutes, if that. And you got yourself a good solid, 3 hours of entertainment. So, and by the way, in those days, the movie starts, you don't get there on time. You can go in the middle of the film. People always did. They would go in, and the movie was going, and you'd catch up to what's happening. And then they'd go on through. And then later on, the same film is running again, and you would look at your friend and go, "Is this where we came in?" And if it was, you got up and you left.
We can go now.
You know, so they made movies to fill that kind of gap. You know, it wasn't until I think maybe Hitchcock that you had to be there before when the film started, or they wouldn't let you in. Because Hitchcock had that gimmick on Psycho. You must see it from the beginning. Nobody will be let in after 7 minutes. I think that was what he said. And
Really?
Yeah. And that was the first time I remembered ever having to be to the theater on time. Prior to that, they didn't care. You want to come in the middle of The King and I? Hey, they're still singing. They're singing songs, you know. I'll tell you though, if you went to some double features where they were running films that had been out a while, sometimes you would get a double feature in which it was like Ben-Hur and some other like 2-hour movie. You were in there for about 6 hours. So, you know, but that's all changed. I mean, you know, got to be there on time. So that's the reason. You see, I was going to ask you, do you go to the movies?
I haven't been in a long time.
Because we've never talked about any movies. And all the things we've done here, over 260 of them, we have never once talked about what movies have you seen lately.
Yeah, I never go.
Yeah.
It's been over 5 years, I would say.
Really?
Yeah.
And because you don't have, do you have the like Netflix or something like that on your TV?
No, I don't.
So you don't.
And I don't think anything that they've made the past few years doesn't sound interesting to me.
Well, it's either that or it's terrible, you know. I went and saw, what did I see? What did I see the other day? Oh yeah, I watched Wicked. Boy, is that a waste of time.
Now, what's that about?
Oh, that's the Wizard of Oz prequel. You know, it's a musical. It was on Broadway. It ran 20 years, so they decided to make a movie out of it. And the movie I thought it was mediocre. I just, you know, except for the performance of Cynthia Erivo, who's always incredible. It's basically a very dull film with music that You really don't go away humming except for 2 songs. And here's the problem with it. We're starting to run out of time here, so I better wrap this up fast. There are 2 songs that are you stick in your head, right? They're really good. Well, this is part 1. They're going to release part 2 next year of Wicked. And part 2 is the second act of the Broadway show, basically, okay, in which there's no hit music. So I don't know what they're going to do now. Anyway, hey, Larry, good talking to you. Always a pleasure,
Yes, and wishing us both a prosperous new year.
And I wish you a very happy. You're probably going to get that thing taken care of, right? Your hernia.
I've been saying that for 10 years, literally, so let's hope it happens.
Okay. And I'll talk to you next week.
See you next week.
Ladies and gentlemen, his name is Larry Bubbles Brown.
Now in its 10th year, this is GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Yes, okay. Thank you, Larry. We appreciate it. And we'll see you again, next week, I guess. Yeah, we will. He's done about over 250 of those, maybe upwards to 260. He's been on for years now, and I really appreciate him doing it. Anyway, how are you, everybody? It's Friday, and it's another end of another week, and a lot of things to talk about today, I guess. And I think we'll try to bring our people in now. And let me see here. Okay, I keep forgetting how to do stuff here. Boy, I go away stop doing it for a couple of weeks, and I have a problem. So anyway, let me see here. Let's see here. Let's bring everybody in, and let's see here. There's Charlie Wallace, and there's Kevin, and there's Josh Wheeler, and that's a good start. Let's see who else decides to call us this evening. Let me see here. Okay, what, check?
Working?
Check, yeah, you're working. Yeah,
check.
You're fine.
Check.
Yeah, for some reason
check
I don't seem as bright today. Oh, well, doesn't matter. I don't care. Who cares? Anyway, how you doing, Kevin?
Okay,
Yeah.
Ohio State just won, so... whatever.
Yeah, I know.
Penn State.
Josh is happy.
I was no living with Marjorie today. Penn State lost yesterday by what?
Yeah.
1 point?
Yeah.
I think it's 27-24.
What?
I think it's 3 points.
3 points? Oh.
Yeah, but
Well, I won't mention that to her. What the hell?
I'm just
better than
bitter,
Texas
that's all.
did.
I'm just a bitter, raw old man right now, that's all.
You're a bitter, raw old man?
Yeah.
I'm with you, Kevin. I'm
Yeah.
with you.
Well, then I'm a bitter old man. And look, Charlie's a bitter old man, aren't you, Charlie?
Yeah.
And, of course, Josh Wheeler is the bitterest of all of us, and he's the youngest.
Sure. Okay, you can be bitter early.
Well, he's an old fart young, so.
Damn it.
Yeah. So
We
anyway,
may have a special caller tonight.
what do you mean we may have a
Oh, yeah.
special caller tonight?
That's right.
It's possible.
Special caller? Is it somebody?
Possible.
Somebody I know?
Someone who calls this show, but not very often. Mike.
I know who you're talking about. Who you must be talking about. One person we two have in common, right?
Perhaps, yes.
Okay, well that would be nice. We'll see if he does it. If he does it, it'll be a godsend. It hasn't happened in a long time.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, today was a big news day on many levels. First of all, the fires in L.A. continue, although the winds have died down, so it's made it a little easier to fight the fires. But
This weekend. And then
I don't think
they're
there's
coming
anything left to burn, is there?
back. Yeah, there's plenty left.
Boy.
They got a They got to stop the winds, and I think Trump could just make a phone call and stop all the winds. Would be fine.
Yeah.
Well, the whole thing is Gavin Newsom's fault.
Oh, of course.
He's to blame for the whole thing.
New scum, he says.
The new scum, yeah. There was what was it? So anyway, so we had the fires, and then we have, of course, the big news of the day was that the court here in New York officially made Donald Trump a felon. So
He's going to jail, but he's not going to jail.
Yeah, well,
He jumped in that pile of shit again and still came out smelling.
I think
like
on
a
this
rose
show,
baby.
whenever we mention his name, it should be felon President Donald Trump. Okay? First. First of all, he's a felon. I don't know, in Florida, does he lose his right to vote? I know he doesn't lose his right to vote here. Huh?
I was gonna ask that. Now that he's
That's
a
true,
felon,
huh? I didn't think about that.
Well, in New York, he keeps his right to vote. Okay? So that's okay. All right, so he keeps his
So he'll
right
move
to
there
vote.
now. So he'll move there now.
Well, I mean, he's in, but I don't know about Florida. Florida's kind of tough on that kind of stuff, so I have to look it up and see if he
He's going to be
can,
a
if he can
Washington,
vote.
D.C. resident.
Yeah, if he can vote, because look who's eating again. Does Bree ever stop eating?
And do you ever stop talking about colonoscopies during lunch?
I don't talk about colonoscopies during lunch. Somebody
Yeah, you
else,
do.
8 hours ago.
huh?
You and Larry Bubbles Brown.
Oh, well, Larry's Bubble Brown. Well, you don't have to listen to this show while you're eating, okay?
Larry Bubbles Brown is my favorite interview that you do.
Really? Good.
By far, by far.
Yeah, yeah. He's great. I love him. Love Bubs. Anyway, so today, our president, our felon president, future President Trump, is now officially a felon, and a mighty fine felon, as a matter of fact. And it's
Well, if he were president, these fires never would have happened.
yes, right, exactly.
They
See,
never would have thought of happening.
Here's
He
the
would have watered the forest.
yeah. Here's the thing that gets to me. He then goes on. People are losing their homes in fires. Their lives are misery. He could write something like, my heart goes out to the people in Southern California in the fires and everything. But all he can do is, what is that with Ray?
Oh, sorry. It says-
He looks
I
like
think-
you look like the Invisible Man.
I happen to be reading that book.
Maybe he is.
No, yeah. That
Oh, that didn't work either.
No, that didn't work either. I would just go onto your thing and just say,
Yeah, I'll fix it.
yeah, you can fix it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can fix it.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, you're the Invisible Man. It looks good. Yeah.
There we go.
There we go. There's Ray. Hi, Ray. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you.
So we got him. He's officially a felon. They didn't give him any jail time. He didn't get any fines. He really didn't have to suffer at all for his sins. So my question here is, can we assume that some people are above the law? Is that the new thing we can say? Some people are above the law? See, I mean, I don't care if he's president or not. That doesn't matter. If he committed a crime, he committed a crime. He should have to pay for it. Now, most people doing what he did do not get jail time. So that's fine. I will go along with that. But they do get some kind of fines as a punishment, or maybe he has to wear an ankle bracelet. That would be nice. And my question, as a felon, does he have to report to a probation officer?
Not
I don't
in
think
this
he has
case.
any penalty.
Huh?
Yeah,
It's
that
on
penalty.
Yeah,
No.
it's just completely discharged. or
no
whatever it says.
penalty.
Yeah.
Here comes that special guest that Josh Wheeler was talking about.
Oh my
Hello,
gosh,
Patrick.
Patrick.
It's Patrick
Hello.
Blazik, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, Patrick.
Woo!
Hi,
Hi. How you doing?
I am alive and well.
Good. So anyway, we were talking about our felon president, Trump, and there was another story here there were all kinds of little interesting stories. This is the hottest year in recorded history.
Yep.
So don't tell me there isn't global warming. It is the hottest year in recorded history. And the other thing was, let's see here. Rudy Giuliani was found in contempt of court for fabricated lies and not giving money to the people he owes money to, which are those two women down in Georgia. So it's been a pretty good day today. Nothing to complain about, except the fire, of course. Let me see here. Two more people are coming in. Brian Neary is coming in, and there's Jeff. And turn yourself aside.
Okay, I know. When you do that, I know. Okay, there we go.
There you go. That's the right way to do it. Hey, look, we got a great group of people here. Anyway, so any thoughts about our president or future president being made a felon? Are you happy with the decision by the judge? Are you against it? What?
Can't wait for the first court case to come up and call it a precedent.
A precedent, yeah. It's interesting. I mean, this is the first president we're going to have that's a felon, but nobody says you can't be a felon and be president. Apparently, I'm kind of like, I don't care. I really don't care anymore. I was watching Bill Maher today, and he said, I'm not going to make that many jokes about Trump anymore. It's just too easy,
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it's just too easy to do. And I kind of agree with that. I was interviewing Rob Schneider. And Rob Schneider says, this was a couple of years ago. He said, I don't make any jokes about Trump. He said, because it's too easy. Everybody's doing it. He gives you more material than you'll ever need. So. And there was one other story today. Oh, yeah, Jack Smith's final report is set for release. So that's good, And
Aren't they trying to block it?
They were.
Aren't they still trying to block it?
I don't think they're trying to block it anymore.
Oh, okay.
They were, but they didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And you have a map of Greenland in back of you.
Yeah,
That's very
I'm
nice.
planning on moving there in a year or so after it's part of the 51st state, unless
Yeah.
Canada gets there first.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend up in Canada. What's his name? God, my mind's
Michael Chisholm.
Mike Chisholm. I was talking to Mike Chisholm today. We'll have an interview with him next week on the show. And Mike Chisholm, who lives up in Canada, I said, how do you like the fact that you're going to be the 51st state, and finally have to pay for health care, And he said, well, who knows? And Greenland, but we want to buy that piece of crap up there? Nobody wants that.
Well, apparently, it is full of a lot of natural resources
Wait a
that
minute,
are protected.
hold on a second. What's the 2550 for? Is
That's
that
his bill.
is that your
How much
lunch?
Greenland
That's
is.
how much the lunch costs.
That's
yeah.
how much the
In
lunch?
what?
Wow, that's an expensive lunch.
That's not dollars, though.
That's not dollars.
That's like $4.50.
Really? Screw you.
Yeah, for a
Screw you.
complete
I hate
sushi
you.
meal, unlimited green tea. Just an excellent. I mean, really authentic.
You know what I'm going to
taste.
do? I'm going to move to Malaysia and make your life a living hell, okay?
Hey, it's cheaper in Greenland, even.
It's cheaper in Greenland. Have you seen
Yeah.
Greenland? It doesn't look exciting, does it?
No, but it's full of natural resources, and they're protected because the Inuits live on all the land.
part of the U.S. now.
But Trump's gonna want to, if he gets it, he's gonna want to exploit that and take all this stuff
Oh,
out
he
of
already
there.
got it.
What are those birds they have?
We already got it, you think?
Oh, see, when he announces it, his reality it becomes real.
Oh yeah, today he said he didn't do anything wrong.
Well, Canada's not going to be a state.
In a way, they already kind of are, if you think about it.
Well,
Not really. They have their completely their own
talk to a
culture.
Canadian. I think he'll disagree with you.
Yeah.
Not really.
They're fiercely proud of who they are and their independence from the United States.
Yeah,
they are. They are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Patrick, want to go to Greenland with me for a vacation?
Anybody that goes anywhere where there's fucking snow for vacation, moron.
I agree.
So that from me living here in the fucking tundra.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, Alex, talk about global warming all you want.
Mm-hmm.
Bring some of that motherfucker here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what you're seeing, the problem you're having, you're up there pooping in snow, right?
We've got snow, and it's been the coldest January in Wisconsin in years. And I don't like snow. I don't like cold. I'd like to move to Hawaii. So you can't prove any of this shit to me because of where I live. So we all live in different places, and everybody can sit and bitch and moan and tell me that I'm wrong, and that's fine.
Well, you are wrong, because global warming can also cause the excessive snow that you have now and the excessive freezing.
It's climate change, not really global
climate
warming.
change is probably the term we should use.
Well, climate has always been changing, and I buy that. So I mean, right where I'm sitting, there used to be glaciers. I've said that many times.
And from what I've been seeing on the news, the glaciers have come back. Yeah.
I mean,
I'll tell you, though.
It's going to happen regardless.
I'll tell you how I know it's changing.
Well-
I have lived in New York on and off for, 40, 50 years, because I was here originally, and then I went to California, and then I went back to New York. And in that time, it used to be in the winter, we would get 2-3 snowstorms, and they deposit something. Hello, Adrian. It would deposit something like 7-8 feet of snow, and maybe even more, and that happened 3 times a winter. And now I can't tell you the last time New York has had a good snowstorm. It just hasn't. So it's gone. What is that? Oh, look! I need a bracelet. Yeah, look at those fingernails. What is that? Are you trying to bring me Cynthia Erivo? What is that? Did she make those?
No, there's her mom took her professional.
No, I'm not talking about the
nails.
I'm not talking about the nails.
Oh,
I'm talking
she
about
made the bracelet. Yeah,
the bracelet.
she made the bracelet. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get your nails off in a couple weeks. Okay. You want to send that to Alex? Make one for Alex. I'll send it to him. No, this is that's the sweater I have coming for you.
Oh, wow, that's really nice.
Yeah, I got one coming for you. But
oh, really? You got one for me? Good. Send it. I need one. I still have her pictures on our door to the studio that she did when she was how old? About 4? Something like that?
oh yeah, so remember you made pictures for Alex?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She must have been like 4. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's
4 or
how
5.
old? She's how old now?
9. She's 9 now.
Look at her. Look at her.
Growing up too fast.
So I'm wondering, should I take those pictures down now? Or should I leave them up?
She says no. She says leave him up.
Leave them up. Okay, I will. I don't care.
And when we come visit you in a few months, then she'll see him.
Oh, okay, good. Are you going to bring her with you?
Yeah, I have to.
Why?
No, I have to because I'm a dad. I'm a good dad. That's why.
Well, you are a good dad. He's a good dad, isn't he, Adrian?
Oh,
Oh boy! You know why kids are so cute? So we won't eat them. Yeah. Oh, jeez.
wow.
Now that's one ugly face.
Oh, that's
Hey,
a
bye. Let the grown-ups talk. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's a wholesome family show we've got going here. But anyway, so what did you think, Josh, about the verdict that was handed down today in New York?
Sum that up by just saying, fat lot of good that did everybody. I mean, what's the point of it if nothing becomes of it, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Pointless.
Well, I don't know that nothing came of it. I mean, he felt that, number one, he would not have given him any kind of jail time anyway, because nobody who usually is charged with that gets that much, gets a lot of any jail time. But I'm sure he would have been penalized with, one thing or another, and he wasn't because he's president. Right. And the judge said, I just didn't want to interfere in that whole thing, Well, I don't know that I agree with that. And you know who else is getting crap? Barack Obama is getting a lot of crap for the way he treated Trump at the funeral for Jimmy Carter.
Yeah.
They look like chums. And people are just incensed by that. And I'm going, what are you going to do? I mean, if the guy starts talking to you and starts chatting you up, well, what are you going to do? You're going to be inhospitable about it? Probably not. I mean, what would you guys have done if you were in the same position? Yeah, I know, Charlie. I know what you would have done. Yeah.
No, but so I'm a San Francisco. My grandfather played semi-pro ball, but he loved the Giants. I love the Giants. Born as a San Francisco Giants fan, and I hate the Dodgers. And I used to take my grandfather to the games. We'd go the back way in Candlestick, the VIP way. We'd go that way. And I hated Tommy Lasorda. And all of a sudden, we come out of the elevator coming down, and there's Tommy Lasorda, and I just froze because I didn't know what to say because I hated him so much. But when you hate somebody so much, sometimes you just you're at awe. There they are, and I just didn't know what to say.
Yeah. And if he had said, "Hi, how are you?" you would have been nice to him, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, yes. If he would have wanted to shake my hand, oh my God. I would shake his hand, but I would
Charlie's the one who I think be upset by it. Were you upset by the way Obama treated Trump at the funeral?
No, I mean, he's just too nice a guy.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to have class.
But I'm not upset. I mean, he was just being a nice guy.
Well, I wouldn't have seated Trump next to him. I would have put maybe the wife in the middle, So there was a separation between Obama and Trump, and then Obama didn't feel he had to be chatty with the guy sitting next to him,
Put Michelle Obama in between. She'll give him hell.
No,
I don't know. I just feel like with all the shit that, all the stuff that that Trump has said about Obama, where he wasn't born in the United States and the birther stuff and all, Obama has class. It's like you can say anything you want about me, and you're not going to get to me. I'll still be hospitable with you. I think it's great.
Yeah,
I think it just shows a lot of.
I thought it was. I wouldn't blame him for it. I think I would do the same thing. I probably wouldn't be. I wouldn't be as chatty with him. At one point, he smiled at a joke or something that, Trump was whispering in his ear. But
it's awkward.
Yeah, Yeah. How'd you?
I mean, the cameras are on you.
Certificate in that file. That's what he was doing.
What? What'd you say?
He was showing him his birth certificate. Said, see, here it is.
Charlie, how did you feel about Obama doing that?
About Obama as president or what he did?
Obama yesterday when he was chatting up.
Like I said, I probably wouldn't have done it, but I can see how he did it because he's like Ray said, he's got class. He's just not going to be a jerk.
Yeah. Would you have been tempted to say anything to Trump?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I got lots of things to say to Trump.
Yeah. But I mean, but he's gotten a lot of heat for that today.
I know people are silly.
And the other guy who is completely on the outs with me, and I think with a lot of people, not that he was ever on the in with me, is the head of Facebook, of Meta.
Yeah.
Zuckerberg. Boy, oh boy. What a sellout.
Yeah.
Sorry, but
a lot of my
they're all tools using him as a tool, and then he's going to use them back, and they're going to all tool each other.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's a joke.
What were you going to say?
Watch the next 4 years. They'll be.
I would say a lot of my friends on Facebook, they all. I mean, I guess the big chatter is they're all going to Blue Sky. But Blue Sky is not really, I mean, I think that's sort of a Twitter.
Yeah, that's kind of a Twitter thing. But Facebook is all by itself as a social media. Yeah.
There really needs to be, and I never understood why there couldn't be, but a nonprofit version of it. Similar to like Wikipedia or the old Twitter, like following those ethos, those realities. Mark Zuckerberg was the wrong person. It's very clear. He doesn't really, he's kind of weird, and odd.
Well, he's
never, I don't know, he changes his haircut and what he wears. And I just think.
Yeah. I was watching TMZ today and they were discussing this thing. And this guy who's on TMZ, the head of it, I can't remember his name now. He was just saying, it's really good what Zuckerberg is doing because Zuckerberg believes that there shouldn't be any censorship, blah, 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 blah. And does this guy remember that Trump said that it might be good to drink Clorox to get rid of COVID? And would he want that to be on Facebook? I mean, don't we want to protect the public to a certain extent from this kind of misinformation, which may kill them? So, anyway. But
I didn't listen. Care. What did Zuckerberg wants to build his Hawaii? He wants to buy property from Hawaiians, in unethical ways, and build his big fortress for when people really do revolt and want to eat the rich.
Well, that's what Larry Ellison did.
Yeah. What you were going to say something, Ray?
I didn't listen to Zuckerberg's excuse as to why he was doing this, so I don't even know what his reasons are.
His excuse basically is that we shouldn't censor anything, but and we shouldn't monitor that, and we shouldn't monitor that, and that
it's money.
Yeah, the Trump.
It cost them a lot of money to do that, and now because Musk and Trump said so. He's like, I don't have to really do this anymore. Okay, yeah, let's save money. And here, let me write a check for you, Trump. However he can make more money.
Josh,
money.
Do you feel it's a violation of free speech to not put things on that people say that they feel are racist or hurt people or whatever? I mean, or do you think that they shouldn't have any responsibility to that?
Well, I don't think it's illegal for them to do it. I mean, they were already doing it, and I mean, you enter into an agreement with them when you join, their app. So, you know what you're getting into. So they would have the right, in my opinion, to limit things as they saw fit. Content moderation. It's not violating your free speech because they're not saying you can't say it. They're saying it. They're saying you couldn't say it on the platform that they own that you became a member of. It wasn't the government telling you that you couldn't say it. But now, I guess that's moot because they've removed any responsibility or oversight, I guess, of doing that now. They're going to just let you say whatever you want, which is probably not a good idea, but
I mean, they say
but hey, but that's what they're going to do.
They say it was a violation of freedom of speech. That's one of the things that.
But I mean, but it's really not. I mean, it's if you and I go into a nice restaurant tonight in New York City and we stand up and start screaming, all kinds of bad words and, fuck this, fuck that. And I mean, is the restaurant not allowed to throw us out? We're just talking.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, we could give 5 million more little hypotheticals. I'm just saying, I mean, they're not saying you can't say those words. They're saying you can't say them in the restaurant that you're here for
it's the old
today that we own. I mean, it's a little different, but it's this. You have an agreement to join a website, and I mean, look, I subscribe to a website. An app called The Athletic that covers sports. And while they do give a lot more freedom than they would for like an unpaid app, like a newspaper would, you can't go in there and write, the quarterback is such a piece of shit. I sure hope someone goes to his house and murders him, and I hope they cut off his head. If you do, they'll take it down.
Yeah. Right.
So, and I mean, you can't go to the comment section and say the quarterback raped my wife. When you don't, I mean, you can't write those things. And so
Well, also you can't. There's the old argument about you can't yell fire in a crowded theater.
Yeah.
It's a question of public safety, and I think there are certain things that they should not be.
Yeah, I mean, they were moderating content already, and it was legal. I mean, I think we're well past whether or not it was legal. I think the real argument now is whether or not it was ethical and whether it was right, which is outside the government's oversight. I mean, it was legal. I mean, as you said, that there are content moderations in our daily life, or speech moderation, I would say, because freedom of speech is not limitless. I mean, that is well settled law for centuries across all different kinds of courts.
If
I have 3 chapters in a book coming out on this.
If I hear in my what do you call it, YouTube, come on here and give medical information which is not right, not medically provable, okay? They can censor me, and well, they should, because if I said, I'm not going to say it,
on Facebook,
because it'll happen. They'll get a hold of me on YouTube, and they'll write and say, "You said last night that blah blah blah," and they have are algorithms that find us. So I won't even give you an example.
Right.
But the whole thing, like, was some of the things Trump said about how you could possibly cure COVID. Okay, good example. They would tell me, "I'm sorry, we can't run that," or "You're being put on notice that you can't ever do that again." And in a way, I think they have the right to do that. I think they have the responsibility to do that.
Not anymore.
What?
Not anymore. Eventually, YouTube will probably go the same way, but they just use AI moderation.
Yeah, but I don't think YouTube will change their policies. I think they will make sure that the stuff that shows up on YouTube is not dangerous to the public as a whole.
Let's see.
I mean, we'll see. It could well be that the whole house of cards will fall, and all of a sudden it's YouTube, and then it's X, and it's already X. I mean, you can almost say anything you want to on X. Josh, did you have your hand up?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Ray, what do you think?
If you look back historically, in the early days of online communities, those that were free for alls and allowed anything, they pretty much died out. It was the ones that had reasonable respectful, responsible moderation that was enforceable that continued on. There's just a number of examples of this. So now it's interesting that the platforms themselves are going into this, free and open mode, because historically that would have meant that people would leave them.
Well, on
It's
Facebook,
almost like becoming the FCC.
as you know, the FCC, yeah. I mean, for years we've had the
It's just
FCC.
a different version of it, and they just haven't gotten to that point of having that type of regulation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what the FCC would regulate is they didn't want misinformation, especially regarding health, as an
And
example.
the 730 words either.
That's stupid.
Well,
In this
but
day and age,
still,
that is absolutely stupid.
That's beyond that. It's still regulatory, and that's what the internet does not have.
Do you
it's
know
supposed to be-
do you know the extent we had to go in the old days to
Oh, yeah.
to take care of that censorship? Every TV station, every radio station had a 7-second delay.
Right.
And had to be running at all times if you had a talk station, for instance.
Yep.
And then if somebody said something, you had to hit that button, and it would black out 7 seconds of the program. The expense of running that was not cheap, and then to decide whether to push the button on something or not, you had to make that decision in 7 seconds. So let's say somebody said something on my show and I didn't think that it was a problem, and I didn't hit the button. Well, because I had the delay, it's my fault. If I didn't have the delay, it wouldn't be my fault. It would be the fault of the caller. So, I mean, it was just...
But you get the fine because you broadcasted it.
Yeah. Although I don't know many people that were fined. Okay?
Yeah, that was all. Yeah. If it was really bad and blatant, yeah, they fine them. But I didn't hear very many.
Well, I know they tried to fine Howard Stern, for instance.
Yeah, he was constantly on.
And
he was constantly pushing the envelope.
And his boss refused to pay the fines. He refused. He fought him, tooth and nail, saying this is ridiculous. I mean, it just got to me that I could get in trouble because of a little, 4-letter word.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on. What did the 4-letter word do to anybody? Did it hurt anybody?
Is this not similar to that? I mean, nowadays with the internet and these companies trying to self-regulate, because they put out their policy and they say that you can't say this, you can't say that, or whatever.
I'll tell you, the fact
all that 10-page fine print that nobody ever reads.
The fact that TV stations cannot run material with 4-letter words in it, I think has hurt broadcast television because they're not able to compete with Netflix, who can run stuff uncensored.
Yeah, I don't watch it. I don't watch anything on regular television.
Right, exactly, because you feel...
You can't say, well, I've told you that many times, you can't stab a guy in the neck, which I enjoy watching, and you can't say the word fuck, which I enjoy using. So
yeah, right, exactly.
You can't have a real fight action movie on, CBS.
Yeah. You enjoy watching a good knife stabbing in the neck?
Sure.
Yeah. How about you, Patrick? You enjoy it? Patrick's just looking at me. he called tonight, but he's not going to say anything. Okay.
Hey, Alex, can I tell you something that happened to me years ago with regard to this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there used to be this thing called Deja News, which was kind of like an early Twitter. I don't know if you remember it.
Yeah, I vaguely remember it.
Yeah, and I was director of sales at a small company, a computer company. And my boss and somebody put in a thread there that he and I were dealing in child pornography on the side. And the CEO had to go to the attorneys for the company and then go to the Deja News to get it removed. It took a couple of weeks. But these things, if they're not regulated, there's all kinds of slander that goes on. There's all kind of misinformation. And like you said, dangerous information can be put up there that can endanger people's lives. I think it's wrong. Just completely wrong.
Well, there's been a law, and I'm trying to remember the name of it right now, in which a lot of these companies don't have to worry about what the users say. In other words, they
Section
cannot be held
230.
responsible for it.
Right.
You're talking
You
about
know,
code section
Even
230.
back then, when that happened to me, that's what Deja News told our company, but they kept pressing it and then they took it off. But
Yeah.
they said it's not our responsibility.
Well, there was a thing, the phone companies had this, where the phone companies were, and I'm trying to remember the name of the status that they had. But what happened was, if let's say you made a phone call, and let's say you threatened somebody's life, or you made somebody's life miserable or something, the phone company couldn't be sued because they used your service to do it. Okay, but and the same should be true with people like, you know, Facebook and so on. On the other hand, they should have to do moderation.
I agree.
You know, and
Absolutely.
if
Yes.
something gets through and they, you know, get in trouble for it, they shouldn't get sued for it because they're simply the carrier. It was a common carrier status. That
It's-
was what it was called.
It's hard and it's expensive. And so that's why they want to advocate that. When instead they should double down. They should try to revise and reform constantly. If they think something is not working, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You know, change the bathwater. But Zuckerberg's like, hey, this is going to save me millions of dollars. I've got this property I got to buy in I want to buy up Hawaii. So yeah, let's not write that check and let's put it on Musk and Trump. That's what he did.
Yeah, well, you know, I think it's ridiculous, and I think it's horrible. And so far, my post of the other day, which I don't know if you heard about it, but I'll just read it to you. I said that because I can say anything I want to now on Facebook, here is the following. And I said, during the last time as president, Donald Trump was accused of raping a 13-year-old boy. He was saved by the current Supreme Court, who deemed it an official act. And I said, I'm going to see if they're going to censor that, but they haven't. So, you know. But then again, who looks at my Facebook page anyway? So, but yeah, it's so everybody. I hate Zuckerberg anyway. Who likes anybody here like Zuckerberg? Yes. Yes, do you have your hand up there, Patrick?
I don't really have an opinion on him. I mean, I don't know what the hatred is with the guy, or I mean, when he was censoring everything and doing all the fact checking, I heard everybody on the left beating off because it was so great that everything was being fact checked and oh my God, this is great. And now that he's not, all the libs hate him, and now the conservatives are sitting there going like this.
Let me say this though, Patrick. We've always hated Mark Zuckerberg. Okay, from the very beginning, we hated Mark Zuckerberg, even when he was wearing the pullovers and stuff. You know,
I never had. I always looked at him as just one of the typical geeks that are from the tech world. I never looked at him as anything special. He created something that I find a use for, but I would have zero use for him, like sitting across the table at a dinner party. I would rather sit across from Hillary Clinton. So, you know.
Well, that would be interesting, you know.
Well, she didn't like talking to anybody at the funeral yesterday, so.
She didn't, did she?
Nope, nobody did. The only one talking was Obama.
Well, no,
Everybody else
no. I saw Pence shake Trump's hand.
Yeah, but shaking hand, I'm talking when everybody was seated. The only one talking were Trump and Obama. Hillary and Bill were by themselves. George and what's her name were by themselves.
Barbara. Yeah.
Biden were by themselves. Kamala didn't even say hi to Biden. They didn't even acknowledge each other. It was a weird vibe at that funeral that I haven't seen. And I mean, you cut out Trump and Obama, and there should have been other interaction. Because I remember H.W. Bush's funeral, Michelle Obama and George W. They were, chatting, and the Clintons
Well,
were talking.
also, why wasn't Michelle there yesterday? Is there any reason for that? Anybody knows?
I
of?
decided not to look it up because it's probably something that nobody really cares about.
Yeah, maybe she just didn't want to go because she didn't want to have to put up with all of this. You know?
She knew where she would have to
she was
sit.
missing her boyfriend W, because those two are inseparable. I mean, if you ever see them at events, those two are together all the time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, some of those people do get together occasionally. I mean, what's his name? Clinton has always liked George Bush, you know, and they've always been palsy, you know.
It's an exclusive club, and that's why this was kind of weird that nobody was talking to each other except Barack and Donald, and I thought that was a little bit odd, but whatever.
Yeah, yeah. But look who's sleeping. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
You woke me up.
What?
Not me. I'm awake.
No, not you're fine, Jeff.
No,
Yeah,
I know it is.
Yeah, where are you, Jeff? It looks like you're in Florida.
I'm in Florida.
Yeah, because I'm looking out the window, and you don't have balconies at your place up in Connecticut, do you?
No.
No. And
No,
that isn't the ocean behind you, is it? No.
Look at
Right
the cat.
behind it.
What?
Kitten.
Right there.
There's a kitty cat.
And there's a
Behind
kitty
me, let's
cat.
see.
There's a Malaysian kitty cat.
It's Breeze hunting
Lunch.
for dinner.
Dinner.
You see any more?
That's only
By the way,
15.
for people who've just tuned in,
That's just the hors d'oeuvre.
you're getting a travelogue of Kuala Lumpur. So, yeah, yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Looks just like here.
How come most places look like everything else? You
Right,
know?
because everyone builds the buildings. All the same companies build all the buildings.
I mean, that looks like L.A. without homes being burnt down.
Yeah.
Just
Do you
said
know-
more of
I can't remember how many they said tonight. How many homes were destroyed?
Yeah.
Over 2,000, something like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it was brutal. It was just brutal.
I saw one helicopter picture the guy was flying over. It looked like somebody dropped a gigantic bomb on an entire neighborhood. I mean, as far as I could see, the houses were just gone.
Did you see that Harry and Meghan are letting people stay at their place that are friends of theirs who were displaced by the fire? And they're also giving a great deal of money to the World Kitchen, who goes into disaster areas like this and feeds people.
Good for them.
They've been very good about it, because they're
They're
part
like
of that.
them.
They're part of that community down there.
Yeah.
You know.
Did you hear Adam Carolla talk about all the people on Malibu on PCH going to have to wait and get permits to rebuild? He said the people in the Winnebagos, all the homeless people in the Winnebagos across the street will be there months and months before they even get permits to start building.
You mean they can't rebuild immediately in Malibu?
Oh no, they'll have to get permits, building permits and everything. But they're saying that all the homeless that have been in the Winnebagos, all the campers across the street, they'll be back there pretty soon. But then they'll still have to wait for all these permits for
But I got to
the
tell
people who own the homes.
I got to tell you, I mean, the people that there were a lot of people who are very wealthy who lost their homes. Okay,
Yeah.
and of course I feel sorry for them. But number one, if they aren't even insured, they've got enough money to rebuild tomorrow. Okay, although they probably are fully insured. I feel sorry for all those people with those small little homes, and they were the majority of the homes that got impacted. I mean,
Well,
yeah. Well,
the other thing is that the insurance companies in California have been brutal on people the last year or two, and even 4 or 5 years, I guess.
Wouldn't even
They
give
are
them.
they are
Wouldn't even
telling people if you don't make your payment and you're late and they cut you off, they don't re-sign you.
Yeah.
Yep.
They are.
There's some of their CEOs better watch out.
There's I know of a person that just moved from one part of town over to another part of town here, and he was in the country, and the people that were trying to buy his house were getting refused. They could finance it and everything else, but they couldn't get insurance. And he doesn't. He's got dirt. He's got acreage, but it's dirt. There's no trees there, but they still wouldn't insure them. And then when he was moving over into an area which is basically a brand new house, they don't even have trees yet. They were saying that they wouldn't insure him there.
Aren't people who buy a home and pay for it through a bank loan, okay, aren't they required by the banks to have insurance?
Yeah. So when I bought this house like 5-6 months ago, my State Farm, they wouldn't insure me. They still insure all my cars, but they said no, we're not accepting any new home policies.
Yep.
So what happens? Did you have to?
I had to go somewhere else.
Did you pay
I had to
cash?
Go to out of state.
Wait a minute. Did
This
you pay
one
cash?
guy said
Did you pay cash for the house, or did you go through a bank?
Bank.
So the bank says you've got to be insured, right?
Yes. Of course.
Yeah, and if you put it in escrow, and this is what happened to somebody else I know, you put that payment in escrow, and the bank forgets to pay, you lose insurance, and you can't renew with that insurance company. You have to find somebody else to carry.
Really?
Because of California, they're just getting down on people with close to flood areas, close to landslide areas.
What do you do if your bank says that you have to insure the place, and then you can't get insurance? Then I guess you can't get the loan, right?
Well, this particular guy had to go to Texas to get his insurance.
Oh.
I think you can always get it. It's just that it's going to be a lot more expensive.
Who's going to take the risk?
It's just going to be much more expensive. They're just canceling policies.
Yeah.
That you've been paying into for years.
Jeff?
Yeah. If you got
trees on your illegal.
Wait a minute. Jeff wants to say something here.
Yeah, we rented this place in Florida. We don't own it. We just rent it. And they said, you got to have insurance. What do you mean? What kind of insurance? We're renting the place from you. Oh, you got to get your own rent. And we had to go back to Connecticut. Listen, in Florida, you couldn't get it. Couldn't find insurance.
Wow.
So I went
And this is the for-profit insurance companies that are just fucking basically telling people to go screw off.
That's right. And
if their profits aren't making
everywhere.
they'll just de-risk you.
Yeah.
Wow.
It should be the law that they have to keep you in it, and if they don't want to have that policy anymore, then they just take no new people.
Well, I think it should
why
be
should
a
they
law
be able to
that-
kick you out?
It should be a law that if you're an insurance company, you have to insure anybody who it's reasonable to insure. Now, yes,
on top of that,
I grant you that houses burn down in California, but that's the breaks. If you don't,
That's
you
why
can't
you
go
buy
along with that.
insurance.
Get out of the insurance business.
And you know how much shit these people are going to go through just to collect insurance? It ain't going to be just, oh, there was a fire. Yeah, it was all over TV and it took out the whole neighborhood. Well, we'll have to go and adjust that. We'll have to go take a look at that. And they'll fight this shit for years.
My health insurance through Blue Cross, as I said, I think the last couple of days, went up by about $40 a month.
It's all over. It's the insurance industry itself that's just gone wacko.
There was a time, I believe, when insurance companies couldn't make a profit.
Blue Cross was nonprofit.
I think that was just before Reagan. Insurance companies weren't allowed to make a profit.
Weren't they all nonprofit?
Yes.
I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now you got the CEO getting knocked off because he didn't get, somebody covered, but he was going to a shareholder meeting.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, maybe we got to go back to that again, and we had plenty of insurance at that time. It wasn't like, there were problems with insurance or the insurance getting paid. But certainly the rates haven't gone to like they've gone to,
Remember how much easier it was? They always pay 70 to 100% of everything, no matter where you went. You just send the thing in, and it was a piece of cake.
They say these people who lost their homes, however, who are insured, will get paid within 3 to 4 weeks, something like that. That's what they're
Wow.
saying.
What?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I know there's aid that might get paid that fast, but I don't think
Well,
insurance.
there is aid as well, but they said 3 to 4 weeks for just the insurance companies to take your
believe
claim
that
and
when I
pay
see
it
it.
off. But I think they're going to argue a lot of it because there has been, what is it? How much do they say? $20 billion in maybe two.
Oh, I
No,
think it's up
larger
to
than that,
50
like
50
200
billion,
billion.
I think.
Huh?
I think it's 50 billion now.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of money to have to pay off in insurance.
Yeah.
And how many of these insurance companies, do they have that much money? I guess they do.
Better.
Yeah, they better. But
Well,
you
they
know,
also share the liability, so they never will get hurt. They're all in cahoots together, all the insurance companies.
yeah, well,
And
the
they sell
government,
each other portions of it so that nothing will ever hurt them.
well, the government's going to pay for a lot of people, going to pay
I mean,
the
it's
insurance for a lot
interesting
of people.
because when I'm looking for properties up in Oregon, which I'm doing, the first thing I do, I don't look at the house. I look around the house. How close is it to trees? Where's the closest river? Am I on a floodplain? I'm looking at all that crap first before I even look at the house.
Well, if I had a house in Southern California, anywhere else, I would make sure I didn't have any brush around the house.
Well, I'll tell you what, I was driving on those actual streets that have burned down last week.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have driven through that, and they're just trees growing down the street, nice tree-lined street.
Mm-hmm.
It's not anything different than what you would see down the street from your place.
No.
But what happened was the wind comes along and it just turns it into a torch, and it blows down the street. And then once the tree hits, the embers fly, then it goes to the houses, and it just goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
So Santa Ana wins.
Yeah, it wouldn't have any other day. It probably would have caught one house on fire.
Is your house insured, Ray?
Mine?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, against that sort of thing. Has the price gone up in recent years from what it was?
Yeah.
Every year it goes up.
Yeah, we pay a lot of insurance now.
Yeah. I mean,
And also, they're also ripping people off with automobile insurance, but that's another thing.
Yeah.
It's the insurance industry itself. Period.
Well, maybe
even
we have to go
home
back.
warranty insurance is ridiculous. I had to deal with that.
I have a friend who has a pet, and it's a service dog, and he paid over the life of the pet so far. He's paid $15,000 in, and then as the dog got older, they canceled the policy.
Mm-hmm.
So he's already paid $15,000 in insurance. When the dog hit 9 years old, they canceled the policy.
I looked it up for my cat. It was fucking like $60-$70 a month for cat insurance.
And then you don't know if they're going to get rid. Like when the cat gets old, they might get rid of the policy, and you've wasted all that money.
Yeah,
that's just it. Should be totally illegal.
It's such a racket.
Yeah. Well, I think we got to do something about insurance companies, but we also
Trump will make it.
got to do something about this show because it's about coming to an end. I don't know. There's so many things happening, so many weird things happening. But I guess life is good for you anyway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, outside of the fact that it costs more for chicken now than it used to, but
apples too. Yeah,
you'd be happy to know that more people are employed right now, and there are a lot of some of the metrics are very good. It's just that the stock market keeps going up and down, and I think that has a lot to do with the anticipation of Trump. And so as soon as he gets into office, maybe that'll settle as well. Anyway, hey, listen, thank you so much, Kevin. Good seeing you. Good seeing you, Josh. Wonderful having you here. Ray, nice having you here. Patrick, it is so wonderful to see your face in this group. And then there's Jeff, and then there's that. What is that?
That's a schnoz.
What is that? Oh, that's a big nose, and it's a nostril.
Wow, nice view on that one.
You have a booger in your nose. Do you know that?
There's bats in the cave. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't pick your
Oh,
nose.
there is a booger in there.
Oh, God. You know, this is my lunchtime. Thank God I'm done.
Thanks to Bree for being here. Thanks to Brian Neary and whatever that is. And of course, Charlie. Thank you, everybody. Give a wave, big wave goodbye, and I'll give a big wave goodbye at you, okay? There they go, ladies and gentlemen. That's our citizen panel for tonight. And it's great having them here. It was a good show. Anyway, listen, we had a good time tonight, and we hope you did. And stay tuned now for Amy Manuel. She's next over most of these same stations. With The Intersection, she'll be taking your calls on Skype at Gabnet Live. I'll see you again on Monday with the pop-up show at 4 o'clock on Facebook, and then I'll see you again on Wednesday. Same time, same station in life. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, you know what to do. Tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye, everybody.
This is a test. For the next 60 seconds, this station will conduct a test of